Hello, book friends. It's Christy from Vintage Books. Just checking in with everybody to see how your reading week has gone. Last week we first launched what I'm calling the book report. Not very clever, but a little bit. We're just checking in weekly with our reading challenge to see how everybody's reading is going for the week. And to let us know, if you want to, in the comments, how your reading is going. If you're doing the Vintage Books reading challenge or if you're doing a different reading challenge, I would love for you to let us know what you're reading and what the goal of, or what category that might fit. I shared last week that I am trying to get through my arch nemesis of a book, and I know that's going to show up backwards, but Moby Dick. I've been trying to read this book for over 30 years, and I keep getting to the same spot in the book. So this time, I'm going to go further. So I was just going to read, actually, one of my favorite sections of this book is the first paragraph, which I read every single time I start. Even if I don't get any further than that, I get to read that. But the first paragraph has some really funny lines in it. You know the famous first line, call me Ishmael. But one of my favorite parts of that first paragraph is, whenever my hypos get such an upper hand of me that it requires a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the street and methodically knocking people's hats off, then I account it high time to get to sea as soon as I can. And I think that probably all of us have been there. Wanting to walk down the street and knock people's hats off. So I think that that's kind of a funny observation and just kind of a touch point that people of all ages and all cultures and through history have had their moments where they just need to get away from people. So I am working my way slowly through that, but I'm giving myself the whole year to finish. I figure this is a year-long challenge, so I have a year to read it. So a little bit at a time. The other one that I've been reading is this Thich Nhat Hanh. Essentially, it's divided up into really, really short daily readings. And I'm really enjoying it. I can show you. It's just, they're really short. It's interesting how much he can pack into like a paragraph, and you read it and you think, oh yeah, that's great. And then you stop and you're like, well, I want to think about this a little bit, because there's so much more packed in there than you can really digest in one reading. You almost have to read it 2 or 3 or 4 times. So I'm going to show this one again. This is one that we actually have in the store. We just got restocked today. So just if you've ever been interested in his writing, this is kind of a great way to get introduced, because it's just little pieces of thoughts for each day. So I see we have a couple of people that have just joined in. Thank you for popping by. I was just sharing how my reading challenge is going, and hoping that you all are reading some good books already this year. We love to have you say what you're reading in the comments if you want to. I worked on getting the reading challenge list to the website today. Actually, I didn't work on it. I made the file available to the person, which is Jeff, who actually knows how to put stuff on the website. So he was going to hopefully be able to get that up today or maybe tomorrow. But that way, if you all want to print it out and just have it somewhere. And if you weren't here last week, I will just say again, we just came up with an idea of 12 different books. We're thinking kind of gives you like one a month if you wanted to break it up that way, but you certainly don't have to. Just kind of gives us a category. Some of the categories are like a classic or a work that's been translated or a young adult novel, or there's 12 different categories. You decide what you're going to read. You decide when you're going to read it. And we just thought it would be fun to check in once a week and just see how you all are doing, share what we're reading. I'm going to start hitting at my colleagues to find out what they're reading, but didn't get a chance to do that this week. Just because we feel like it's fun to be part of like a book club, but maybe not everybody has time to come into the store. Maybe you don't have a chance to purchase a book and then come to the store during the day if you're working and being part of a book club, but you want some way to kind of have community of readers to hang out with. That's kind of the idea behind this. So check back in Tuesday evenings if you like. Holler on I'm going to post this to the Instagram feed after we're done, and feel free to comment in the comments what you're reading, what you're working on. If you're working on a different reading challenge, that would be fun. I know one of my coworkers is working on a different one, so there's just lots of fun ways to kind of keep motivation, but also encourage us to branch out a little bit. One that I am gonna start next is this one. This is actually an advanced reader copy, so it's not a reflection of how the book will look when it's published. It's coming out this month. It is a nonfiction, so I'm using it as my nonfiction, not my usual genre kind of book, by Nell Greenfield Boyce, and she has been a reporter on NPR for a really long time. She's a science reporter, so it's adjacent to a lot of things that I'm interested in, but I generally don't read a lot of nonfiction, even though I write it. I tend to stick to fiction, fantasy, and that kind of stuff, so I'm pushing myself a little bit outside of my box and reading this. It's not super fat, though, so it's not too intimidating. So if you're interested in science, nonfiction, science reporting, and that kind of thing, this one might be a fun one to look up. Looking down to see, it just says January 2024. So it's coming out here in the next few weeks, but I don't know exactly what the date is. And the other one along the same lines that is a genre that I do normally read, so this won't be a book challenge book for me, but it's called The Half-Built Garden. It's kind of a not post-apocalyptic. It's kind of like we figured out climate change and then the aliens showed up. So it's I think Sean Ann McGuire is quoted as saying it's a first contact novel that defines a generation. So I'm excited to read this one. I've started. I'm a little way in, but it's pretty good so far. And let's see, what else can I tell you? We did our mystery book clubs today. So if you missed out on that, we'll be doing another one, which is the second Tuesday of the month. 4 o'clock is the Cozy Mysteries Book Club. 4:30 is the Magical Mysteries Book Club. We will be announcing in the next week or so what next month's books are, so you can pick those up. So if you want an in-person book club and you're able to come on Tuesdays at 4 or 4:30, we hope that you will join us. We are kicking off Vintage Books Live again tonight at 7 o'clock, so just about 20 minutes from now, with David D. Levine, who's a local sci-fi fantasy author. Looking forward to talking to him. He had his first book come out in a little while. So we are going to talk to him. Those usually last half an hour, 45 minutes. So if you want to hop on to our YouTube, I don't have it memorized. I think it's Vintage Books 1651 on YouTube, but you can also look on our, blanking out here for just a second. We have a link tree that's associated with our Instagram account. So if you go to that link tree, there is a link to the YouTube on there. So that would be probably the quickest way to jump over. But we stream live to YouTube. I monitor the comments as we're having the interview, so people can ask questions if they want to and interact with the writer that way. So I'm really excited about that tonight. Next week, Tuesday, we have Cindy Goyette, who's a local mystery author, who has her book came out today, although we don't have our copies yet, but it did come out today. And then we'll have, let's see, we have local author Paula Charles, the third, not next weekend, but the weekend after that, and then the following weekend we have Sarah L. Sanderson. So we've got a full month's worth of Vintage Books Live that we're starting tonight. So hopefully you can join us for that. So thanks for popping in tonight. Hope your reading week is going well. And have a good rest of your week. If you're in the Vancouver, Portland, greater area where we're maybe going to get weather, stay safe and stay warm. And we will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.